Yo, what's up? This the Edge. I got my man, Playmaker with me. Creative life, lifestyle. You know we focus on 5 pillars: mindset, self-mastery, financial freedom, community networking, and lifestyle leisure. And my man right here he is lifestyle leisure right now.
Man, I like all that, Edge.
You like all that?
I love the way you put all of that,
That's
man.
life.
And it is in a sense where, and I love this whole slogan, create the life. Because everybody wants the life. If you ask anybody, they'll say, yeah, I want it. They'll raise my hand, I want it. But they won't do the things they need to do to create the life. So if you want it, then you have to create it. And I just want to share everybody. This is my man, Edgerrin James. I'm so excited to even have him here on my YouTube channel at his spot here in Orlando. We just left the football game. It's literally a 5-minute walk from his building right here, his studios, Create the Life. And I love this. Edge, I was with you at a building that you had in Atlanta. Was that Atlanta we were in?
It was in Miami.
It was Miami. I mean, in Miami at the one. But we were someplace else we had a game. And I came by. It wasn't this building.
Atlanta. It might have been.
It must have been Atlanta for one of them Super Bowls or something. That's what it was.
It was Atlanta.
Right, it was Atlanta, right?
We had the one up there, yeah.
Right, that's what I do. I was like, Edge. So wait, because I want you to understand this and why this is so. I've said this, and you can hear this too, Edge. I've had an incredible life. We were talking about that.
Yeah.
We both had an incredible life. We live an incredible life. But the greatest parts of life is not just the life you live. What's good about what we get a chance to do is we cross life with such incredible people.
Yeah.
Right. And then God intertwines our lives together. I see you over here with Mr. Ursay. I see your pics over there with Peyton Manning. You know, these are people that you cross. They can't tell their story without you. You can't tell your story without them.
Right. Right.
So
pivotal points in life.
Right. You can't tell. Right. It all. So your glory is your story that you created the life.
Right.
But also your glory is in their story where they created the life. Right. You see what I mean? So you get to cross-pollinate. I think about Dion and Emmett, those guys that are in my life. I said, man, I love how we can get to mix in each other's successes right now. And me being here with you, Edge, that's big time, man. Because I remember when you retired and we sat.
Remember that conversation?
Man, I remember that, Edge.
Sat in the Hard Rock for some hours.
Do you remember that, Edge?
I remember. Mike. You know, Mike, one of the OGs from the University of Miami. And my first encounter with Mike was, Mike was doing a holdout. I was at the University of Miami working out, getting our workout in. And he was holding out, but he was outside in 100 degrees weather, working out with some shoulder pads on. And that right there that sparked a little fire in me to say, man, this is what it takes to be one of the best of the best. We got one of our greats coming here on the grounds. You had them shoulder pads on. It's 100 degrees.
That weight vest up under that mug.
He was doing everything. I said, man, that's what it takes. So for me, the thing I took from that was, man, you see what the best of the best do to be what they are. If you're not at least doing that, man, don't even say you want to be the best. Don't even get in that conversation, because these are things that somebody's doing. You was by yourself. You didn't have nobody. And that right there said another thing. They said, man, like, he didn't need no motivation. It came from in here.
Right.
So that was our first encounter that I saw the great Michael Irvin. I hadn't seen him on TV, but that right there was pretty tight. And that right there, it meant a lot, and it stayed with me forever.
And see, that's what I'm talking about exactly. That I hear you tell that story. I hear Michael Strahan tell the story when he visited the Cowboys and he saw me. I was over there at night doing box jumps. And he said, Michael, what are you doing? I said, I'm doing this in the dark. So I was shining the light. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. It's just what we were talking about earlier. We're in such an Instagrammable world now. And everything you do, everybody wants to be seen. They put all their workouts on Instagram. I was of the mind, no, you ain't gonna see my workouts. It's like warfare, you know what I mean? You don't see the great generals telling you their game plan, their warfare plan. They ain't giving you that, and I don't care, you know what I'm saying? But Ed, as you gone through this, Ed, tell me, what have you looked at? You said, man, this is one of my greatest challenges as you went through this journey that you have had, this incredible life journey.
I think the challenges, they go in stages. You know, when you were in college, you know, first start of high school, one of the greatest challenges is becoming eligible, because you know you play football, you don't take school serious, and you have to do what it takes. You have to make a sacrifice from right then and there. And I had to give up my school lunch. I had to give up my free time to become eligible. So that's one challenge. And then you go to the University of Miami.
You learn right then. Yeah. In order to do what I want to do, I got to do what I have to do. I gotta. It don't matter about how you like it. I don't blame school. It got nothing to do with that. In order to do what you want to do.
It's not about school. It's about what you're trying to get to.
Yeah. Right.
So that's one of the things that was one of the challenges. So challenges go in stages, but they keep reoccurring. And even when you're successful, you're still going to have challenges. And you have to use that same model, that same mindset. I got to do what it takes to get where I'm trying to go. And when somebody lay out the plan of what it takes, whether you like it or not, this is what I got to do. So it becomes irrelevant what you got to do, because you're going to do what you got to do if it's what you truly want. And then you go to college. College, you have your injuries, you have University of Miami.
Right.
You already know it's like playing.
Right.
It's the temptation. I think that's the biggest
in Miami.
In Miami,
period.
The temptation is serious. You know, it's like you know, you go from being this 17, 18-year-old, and then now you go out and you're in this. Everybody knows you. The females, everybody knows who you are, and so you have the temptation. You know, am I gonna go party? Am I gonna go work out? So you have to deal with all that stuff right there. Correct. And then when you get to the pros, you got the money, you got family, and that's a whole nother ball game that you have to deal with, because it's something that nobody from our personal space can speak on. Mm-hmm. Because usually we're the first generation wealth, we're the first one to make it.
And that's
so you're kind of alone in a sense, and that's where you have to seek mentors. You have to go find somebody that's willing to put you on game and kind of get you up to speed. And then also, you know, when you're playing sports, you know, sports, it's serious. You don't realize how serious it is until you start seeing these people putting their hard-earned money on the line, gambling and betting and banking on you being successful. Right. And now it turns up another notch. And so it's so many different things that you have to deal with, so many different things that's going to come that you can't even prepare for, even if somebody tell you about it.
Right.
Until you personally experience it, it's a dog for that. So, but for myself personally, every time something came up, I just countered it with something. I always had a system. I would lock in and do whatever it takes to be successful.
And keep focusing on what you have at hand. And speaking of focusing on what's at hand, let's talk a little bit about that game we went to tonight, the University of Miami, because Miami came up a little short. Cam Ward didn't play in the second half. I was so happy he did give us the first half. But if I knew we only had one half, I'd have said hold on to the second half. You know what I'm saying? Because that would have been the half. But I'm so thankful for Cam. Give me your thoughts on the season that Miami had this year.
I think it was a decent season. I think that, you know, I don't know if we think we're better than we are. I think we can just show up, because you got to actually perform under pressure, and we didn't perform under pressure. That's the only thing that I'm disappointed on. Late in the season, we got a chance to go to Georgia Tech to make sure that we get a chance to get in the playoffs, and we don't do it. And then we go to a hungry Syracuse team, and we didn't get it done. So we end up in this space to where now we have to settle for a bowl game that, you know, pretty much everybody would probably deem irrelevant when you're talking about.
Because you're not in the playoffs. You're not in the playoffs. Not in the playoffs.
Yeah,
and you were rated 13th. Every time I look at Miami 13th, it galls me. Yeah. Like the rating 13, it just bothers me, because I knew 12 teams got in, and yeah. Even though they had, you know, like teams like Alabama ranked a little ahead, they still didn't get in. But it just galls me, because you're right there. They had those two games.
That's why I say, like, when they start talking about, man, we should have put this team or that team, we controlled our own destiny.
Right.
If it didn't mean enough to us right then and there, we got to dig deeper and say, man, like, now we know what to do. We know what it takes, and we got to go back to the lab and said, man, look, this was gonna take. It ain't no leaning on nobody else. And then that's what creative life is all about. You got to create your own life. You control your own destiny.
That's interesting because I went going to all of those games. I'm not gonna lie. And I told people out here, I was exhausted, dog. I was exhausted when I went in that Florida, that Georgia Tech game because I was traveling to, and they had been playing so many games, winning up here.
Right.
It's so hard to continue to win games like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And play the next week. So even I was like, okay, lost to Georgia Tech. But I thought the bounce back Syracuse was going to be a knockdown. And we started off so great. I thought that was over. I said, this game's over. We're going to win. And then they ended up coming up short. Now, that was the pain of that. You know what I mean? And then right there, that's going to stick with you forever right there. Yeah, that'll stick with them forever.
I don't, in the midst of it, you don't understand the opportunity.
You don't until it's too late.
Until it's too late.
Until
it's like, and so it's like, when you look on, like when we was on that sideline, you got Michael Irvin, Devin Hester, Jason Taylor, Edgerrin. That's 4 Hall of Famers.
Right. That's
right there in the midst of it. We know what it takes, and for them, they don't really understand what they have until it's gone, and that's the sad part about it. Because you got a chance to be around people that's been there, done that understands everything you're going through, but it's a clouded type of situation, so you don't really know what's going on. And we know, it's like if I say, Mike, if you got one more chance
oh my God,
to play that game,
my God.
You talk to any player that's played the game.
You're right, though.
If you got one more chance, what would you do different?
Right. And it's funny when you say that, man. Everybody talks, man, you work so hard. Dude, I work hard. It's some things I didn't do that I could have done. Man. You know what I mean? It's one time I chased a woman that I should have been chasing footballs. It's one time I went to. I'm serious. You're gonna think about it. See, because then it was so important to you.
Yeah.
It was so important to you then. What was happening? You got that FOMO, fear of missing out, or whatever they call it. Now when you look back and you see other guys, you're like, man, I could have left even bigger mark.
A bigger. That's every time you look and say, dang, I could have did more damage.
Right.
It's not that we didn't do damage. Right, we did damage.
But you still say I could have done more.
Man, we could have did so much more.
And you got to live with that. And see, we know that as great as the life is we have, and as great as we've accomplished things, and like I don't know when you mentioned that, I thought about it. I don't know anybody else that has 4 Hall of Famers all the time on the sideline,
always
talking to players, all that, and we have many more on the sideline. But and that's a great wealth of knowledge, when you think about that, man. But no matter what, all I'm saying is no matter you accomplish it all, when you look back, you're gonna still say, I should have done more. I could have done more. Yeah. So that's why I just try to tell them, squeeze this, man. I'm telling you, the things you think are important aren't important as you think they are. As these things that we're telling you are going to be important. That's the beauty of it.
You're not going to realize, one thing that I always say, and that stuck in my head when I was told you, live life forward, but you understand it backwards. And right now, we playing it back over and over in our head, and we're like, man, if we could have done this, if we could have done that, even when it comes to business, if I could have shook this hand. Like one thing you do great, I see Mike gonna shake her hand, Mike gonna make sure that he acknowledges everybody, but he understands the importance of that. But I don't know if a young Michael Irvin
right. I see you. I feel you. Right. Yeah. To the same degree. And understanding each. And that what you just said is key too. Because you're in the game right now.
Right.
And okay, you're young, you're focusing on, we're famous, I'm making money, the women, all that stuff you're focusing on. When it's prime opportunity, be focused on business.
Right.
On the field and off the field, building, you know what I mean? I think about, we were talking about the deals that I've lost. I've lost some deals. I've lost some deals, man, that I've allowed people to negotiate for me when I thought it was a good deal, and they said, no, let's keep going. And then we lose the deal. And I mean, we lost hundreds of millions of dollars like this. And I said to myself, Never again will you do this. You know what I'm saying? Because like, okay, a lot of young guys are coming out now. We were talking about this. Young guys got to understand, wait a minute, the agent works for you. You don't work for the agent. Stop making him think that you work for him.
Stop overvaluing him.
Stop overvaluing him. That's the key.
So I think when I look at that, you know, being in that position, and then after dealing with kids, because I started with the youth programs, and so I have kids that have made it to the pros, and so you see it, and then you play it back to yourself. I just think we overvalue them, but they do a better job of recruiting and giving themselves to the person to make sure you let your guard down when we are who we are and we stand firm and we telling you exactly how it's going. You go and listen to somebody who has never ever put those cleats on, gotten that hot sun and put that work in, and they're more lenient. It's like grandma house. Everybody want to run to grandma house because grandma gonna give you, because she gonna give you what you want, and the kid gonna chase the lollipop. And it's like sometimes they need to sit back and say, slow down and say, look, these people really work for me. And once you put that in perspective, that's when everything will come full circle. But I don't think they understand or they even realize that those people work for them until it's too late.
Right, and until it's too late. And that's why we're sitting and having this conversation so these guys can kind of get enlightened. Get light inside is what it's called. Enlighten and start saying, hey, wait a minute, I'm going to drive this bus. I'm going to take counsel, but I'm going to drive this bus because you're the one putting in the work. And speaking of driving the bus, I want to talk a little bit about the NFL right now with you, because the coach tonight, the Broncos lost to the Chargers.
All right.
Which gives the coach a chance now to get in the playoffs. I guess the Broncos got to lose out, they have to win out. But either way, Anthony Richardson not playing this week, out again, injuries. Tell me your thoughts of the coach right now in the Anthony Richardson situation.
I think the coach are prepared. They're prepared for those scenarios because you see part of the season they done moved on to Flacco, and it looked like things were going downhill, and they just went on and got ahead of the situation, and now the door has opened back up where there's an opportunity, but you have a veteran. The coach are an organization that's been there, done that. They're well in tune with what's going on, so they're always going to be in the mix. And when you start saying, okay, who's their backup? Their backup has went to the Super Bowl. Their backup has played in the playoffs. He's had success. Their running game is A1. You just saw Jonathan Taylor run for 200 yards with ease. The defense has always been there. The defense get any help, this team right here could be a force to be reckoned with in the playoffs. But if you look at our team and you look at the things that's been going on, okay, we have a young quarterback. He only played 13, 14, 15 games, so you can't expect him to be one of those veterans. So there's a learning curve, and so right now it's like it's hard to have your cake and eat it too. We got a defense that can play, the defense that could take a team through the playoffs and cause some havoc if the offense could balance it out, and that's where we're lacking right now. So with Flacco and with JT and with this team being in the mix and a little motivation, you're going to play against the New York Giants this week. Right. New York Giants.
You get that win. They don't lose the draft.
They don't want to win.
You get this win.
If the Colts lose this game right here, I can't see how or why. It doesn't make sense for neither organization to sit up there. It doesn't make sense for the Colts to lose. It doesn't make sense for the Giants to win.
Right.
Well,
what's at stake?
It's a win-win situation for the Colts, and then you got your final game at home against the Jaguars, and you control your own destiny. And as an athlete, as a competitor, as a man, I bet on me. Yeah. I want all the marbles on me, and then let everything else shake out the way it has to shake out. I think. Who Denver got to play? They got to play against the Chiefs?
I think Denver plays Chiefs, yeah.
So they play the Chiefs. Now it's just a matter of, do the Chiefs rest their starters? Or
and the Chiefs already, right.
I wouldn't think they would sit back and rest your stuff, because now that's 2 weeks of not playing. So being that you have a veteran team, you have a coach that No,
but the Chiefs are already locked up. They
You
can't
can be
get
locked
in a
up,
better
but you don't
position.
want.
And
But you already
remember
got
now,
a seed. You already got them one seed.
They already in the one seed, and Patrick Mahomes was banged up, and Chris Jones was banged up. So they're gonna. I guarantee you, they'll sit those two guys.
So that's the thing.
But the coach can still win. I mean, Kansas City can still win with their backup quarterback.
But I don't even see why they would sit because once you got that bye,
you gonna have that bye.
Like, you don't want 2 weeks. Hey,
that's one thing though.
Football players play football.
Right, and that's what I like. Patrick Mahomes don't want to play. See, he ain't like now. If we had any other quarterback in that situation, I would like he ain't playing.
Yeah. But
Patrick Mahomes is different. He wants to play in that game. Not Sunday, but next Sunday. It's going to be the key because they played on Christmas. So they'll play. You know, they won't play this upcoming. They'll play next Sunday. But that's going to be the key.
Right.
I do think about that. They got all of the rest before that game too, and then that game. So you're right about that. That's going to be interesting. Let me ask you this, man. Do you think the Anthony Richardson situation is going to pan out? What kind of pro do you think ultimately he's going to be?
Anthony Richardson has all the tools. He has the potential. Now, the thing that I'm curious to see is the commitment to the game.
Right.
Now, I've been fortunate enough to play with 2 Hall of Famers, the greatest to ever play, to sit up there and commit their life to the game. And so, if I don't see that, then I don't know how it would go. But if I see this guy commit, and that organization knows what it takes to be great because they've seen it. Right. They've seen it when they had Peyton, and then all of a sudden they had Andrew Luck, but Andrew Luck just had the injuries, but they saw a true commitment. So if they can get the quarterback commitment from Anthony Richardson, because he has all the tools. Mm-hmm. And with this day and age, with the RPO, like he can make some things happen. And so I think it's more of a self-inflicted situation that he controls his own destiny. He has all the tools. He has an organization that's behind him, and you're gonna be given every opportunity to be successful. So that's what's going to determine how much you're going to commit, how much you're going to say, okay, I'm going to lock in my offseason, just commit to getting better. I'm going to block out all the distraction. And the hard part for somebody like himself, because I see a lot of parallel situations from the way you grew up, the way I grew up, where a lot of guys grew up. You got your mom, you got your family, you got everybody, and everybody's leaning on you. Everybody. Right. And so you have that outside pressure, and you know that right there comes with a lot.
It does.
So to block everybody out, to sit up there and commit totally to the game, it's like turning your back on your people.
Right, and that's what they'll think. That's what they'll take it as. Right. And that's why what you're bringing up is you have to put some things in place so you can focus on your thing. You gotta have people like you gotta have people say, hey,
but
they take care of my people. And I know you don't know how to do that, but you gotta figure it out. You gotta say, listen, I gotta take care of what needs to be taken care of.
Right.
If not, I'm telling you, and you know it, I got 16 brothers and sisters. Them Negroes will drag you down. No, really. And they're doing it out of love. They think they're doing it out of love.
They just don't know.
They just don't know. And you gotta be careful with that and get some people to take care of that for you. I believe that.
I think that's, man, dude got the tools. I'm talking about when you see it, and not a bad person, he has the tools. Now, it just takes, if I'm somebody like Anthony Richardson, I would be a paid man every day. Can you tell me exactly what you did? I would do what he did and then do more.
Do
that's all I would do.
And that's what I was telling you about those workouts. That's how I used to think. Jerry Rice put his workout in the paper. I said, "Oh, Joe, I'm doing this in the morning." And then I got Darryl Green work. I said, "Oh, I'm doing this in the afternoon." And then night up on my mind at night. And I go into it. I gotta beat these niggas, man. I did theirs. Both of theirs in mine. You see, it becomes the mindset. It becomes the mindset. And that's what you get in here, you learn every bit, learn every bit.
Man, I used to, once I learned out what the team doing, and I go do my thing. That was my cheat code. Right. In the middle of the night. And I ain't telling nobody what I'm doing.
Nobody.
And then you wonder why I'm just easing away from everybody else. And then I can see the results. And once you see,
it makes you want to do it more.
Oh man!
Now you're locked into your system. Hey, why you motivate your system? What, Joe? That he can't get you off your wheel. Then,
yeah,
man. What you doing, man? No, okay, they do it.
It becomes even a bigger secret because they don't even know.
Right.
But that was my mindset. Like, first thing, I'm gonna come on peep game. I'm gonna learn what everybody's doing.
Yeah.
But then, man, I'm trying to one up you every time. I don't care what I'm doing. I'm trying to make sure that I'm not the weakest link, and I'm trying to make sure that, hey, I'm gonna stand out. You gonna know Edge. I'm telling you, you're gonna know me because I'm gonna do what it takes. Because nothing else matters.
Nothing else.
And that's usually the problem.
Edge, I don't even know Edge. I don't even know. And I know I gotta get to the airport. I gotta go, but I want to talk this way fast. I don't even know if Joe can understand or give you all the credit for when you stepped in. You stepped in to replace Marshall Faulk, which was, well, you stepped in. You stepped in to replace Marshall Faulk, which was the baddest dude in the world, and you covered that job and did it. I was like, because at the time I thought Marshall was one of the most incredible players in the National Football League. You came in and became the top running back in the league. When you see the state of running backs in the National Football League right now, right quick, for a minute, give me your thoughts on that.
Man, I just think the good thing I like about this year let's go back to the Marshall Faulk situation. The Marshall Faulk situation was, okay, you got somebody there that's doing their job and successful, but you never got a chance to measure me. And so it looked like it's a surprise to some, but to anybody that's in the close circles,
right? I seen that Miami. I knew. Right.
You know, it's like it was no surprise. You don't know what's. I mean, nobody was surprised. Nobody was shocked because everybody already knew what time it was. And the other thing is where I'm coming from. I'm coming from poverty. I'm coming from something that you can't measure, and they don't understand. Like, hey, I don't have a plan B. Everything is right here. So I don't have all this other stuff or room to make mistakes. I had a child and I know this is my opportunity. I'm not gonna go to work, I'm not gonna go get a job, I'm not gonna do none of that stuff. Football is everything, so I go all in. So they can't measure that stuff right there. So when it came to that, and when people was bringing it up, I was kind of surprised, but then I started thinking like, okay, they just don't know. Because if you know where I'm coming from and you start saying, okay, yeah, this dude right here, this dude's serious. And that was part of me and Peyton Manning's connection was, man, look, I see you go hard. Guess what? I go hard as you. I do, because I'm on that. You know, like I come to Indianapolis, Indiana. I don't have nothing or nobody, so I have no reason to not be at this facility. I have no reason to not put in the work. I don't have no distraction. This is all I got. Right. And so if I'm carrying everything I got, you know you're going to get the best of the best, or you're going to get the most out of me. And then you go to, speaking of the running backs in the NFL nowadays, right? The thing I like that happened this year was, I like the situation with the Giants. I like the situation with the Tennessee Titans, you know, and you start looking at how successful we are.
The running backs that they let go.
The running backs the ones they let go, and the ones who had to, you know, had to fight because you really don't understand it. And every situation is different. But I'm so happy for Saquon, because now you look at the one you let go, he goes have an MVP caliber year, and then the one you kept, he actually leaves the team, asked for to leave. And then, of course, Tennessee Titans, you know.
Same thing with Ryan Tannehill and Derrick Henry.
Yeah.
Same thing. Same
you
situation.
Make a decision.
And they're paying these guys hundreds of millions of dollars.
Yeah.
And fratting to give a running back the $15 million.
Yeah, and that's the thing I like about the running back is because a real team and a real organization, you can't win without one.
Right.
And once you get you a good one that's locked in and knows his role, man, your team gonna elevate. It's gonna open up the whole offense. Offense gets opened up from running back.
I gotta get out here and get on that plane and get there. I can sit here and talk to Ed all day, and create the life. But listen, you gotta go create the life. You heard this man talk about working out, doing what he has to do. You get up your butt up, stop thinking, I'm going to just pray. If faith without works is dead. So go and create a life like this man has, and he continues to do it. Create your life.
Create your life, man. I got my boy Michael Irvin on here with me. There'll be more to come, man. This right here is just a little snippet of